Welcome back. You're watching The Break on the 17th day of February 2026, and a few things went on during the break. Let's get to some of them and listen to what transpired yesterday when the opposition leaders went to meet the IG.
Ati mpaka mkuu wa polisi ataamua ni lini atakutana na viongozi ambao ni viongozi ambao wako wanaheshimika na Kenya nzima. Sisi tunazungumza kwa niaba ya Wakenya wote.
And when we come, we expect none other than IG Kanja himself to be here.
Effectively, the National Police Service is no longer independent. The CS is supposed to interact with the police on policy matters only, not on operations.
Kwa nini wanaumiza akina mama? Kwa nini wanaumiza watoto?
The right to assemble is an important constitutional right.
Amen. Utakuja Jogoo House saa 2 ndio huyu Inspector General atujibu kwa nini polisi wanavamia kanisa zetu.
Mheshimiwa Rigathi Gachagua ako na haki yake ya kikatiba kuongea na watu wa Kenya.
Utaajibika kwa Wakenya kwa madhambi mliofanya kule Othaya, kudhulumu wanawake na watoto kanisani.
Na kwa hivyo wangapi wanasema tuungane na ODM ya Raila, sisi zote tupeleke mtu jamaa mapema? Wangapi wako tayari? Wangapi wanasema tuungane na kina Sifuna na kina Babu Owino na kila mtu?
All right. Obviously, there are political intentions in all these conversations, but there's an important question about protection of human life. In Kitengela, let's listen to what different quarters have said as their reaction to what happened in that rally, especially coming from various personalities.
Wako na chama lakini sisi tuna wana chama. Wakienda State House wanawacha vijana wapi? Wakienda State House wanawacha wamama wapi?
Wamekula pesa kwenda kuuza chama na hatutakubali.
Sasa wale wengine wanajaribu kuuza chama cha ODM kwa Ruto. Tunawaambia Bwana Ruto, kama umewapatia deposit waambie.
Why is this happening? Yet we are not in the election year. What will happen in 2027 if this is the pace? So we are very concerned. Our security agencies must ensure there is no more lawlessness, particularly coming from their side, because who else has tear gas? Like what happened in Othaya, nobody has been arrested to date. Are they waiting for us to forget that that happened? Yet it was a very ugly thing. We need people arrested and taken to court and the due process of the law taking its course.
Those people were having a peaceful meeting. There was no cause whatsoever. There was no breach of peace whatsoever. The government has just panicked.
But we cannot continue to operate in a situation where people imagine they can manage how Kenyans think and associate using tear gas. That is not going to work.
Yeah, there's been quite a bit of tear gas lately. Mheshimiwa Kibagendi, you were in Kitengela.
Yes, I was.
Do you have an account of what transpired to the end of that meeting?
We are living in an era where we have a regime that is so unsettled because of the lies and impunity they have demonstrated. And because of that, they wouldn't want the masses to be informed or the masses to be reminded about the unfortunate things that William Ruto and his regime has done in this country. What happened in Kitengela is unfortunate. Why? We were actually going on for our regular peaceful meetings like we have done in the past.
What do you mean regular?
We have been doing these meetings for the past year or so. So this is not the first, yeah? So initially in the morning, what this regime did, like I said, they have an intimate association with the goons that they hire, particularly from the capital, who came down to Kitengela and vandalized our PA systems and the stage. And that is why we had to address the people from the road, from the highway, the Namanga Highway. And
what are the grounds in Kitengela, the initial grounds?
The initial grounds were the stage. There is a stage that is
bus stage.
Bus stage.
Yeah.
Now, when after we spoke, and it was all peaceful.
Yeah.
After we spoke, and now we had given an opportunity to other aspirants to say a word or two, that is when the police started lobbing tear gas canisters to the crowds. And you know, they were doing this not realizing that they could have caused an even worse situation, because there was going to be a stampede. And the people who were injured, some of them were injured because of falling off into the trenches and other people stepping on them. And guess what? Because they had been told that they have to kill someone to try and scare us, they had to kill one or two people to try and stop us from continuing.
Told by who?
By the CS, because that is what they tell them, to try and intimidate us.
Surely,
and I want to tell you...
That's a serious allegation you raised.
I'm telling you. Why did they kill that gentleman?
Just a moment. The CS of Interior is Kipchumba Murkomen.
Yes.
You are saying he gave instructions?
He he's been on TV before, telling police officers to kill Kenyans.
No. Are you certain he gave instructions to the police?
Why did that police officer kill someone who was running away? Why?
No, don't ask me a question. I'm asking you.
Yes.
Is it your statement that CS
I want to tell you...
Can I just finish the question?
Yes.
That CS Murkomen gave instructions
Yes.
To who?
To police officers.
How
he has done it. He has done it here. We've seen it before in the press. We have seen it before.
Where he said?
He said police officers should kill Kenyans who go out there to agitate.
When did
we
he
have
say
seen
that?
it. We have seen it. Even Honorable Nelson Koech say that. We have seen that from
Nelson
all this.
Koech is not the CS of Interior.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
When did CS Interior give instructions to the police?
One time he said that when he was at Central Police.
And what did he say?
He said police officers should kill people who come out to
That is not what he
picket.
said.
That is what he said.
No, that's not what he said.
That is what he said.
And
I want to tell you. Now,
let me ask
you.
the words that he used.
Yeah. Now, I want to ask you, why did that police officer shoot an innocent Kenyan who was actually running away from the police? And we were having a peaceful meeting. And I want to tell you, Kenyans expect what I call a more expeditious discharge of services from these police officers. When they begin associating with goons and serving one side of citizens, people who are supporting this government are the ones this government is protecting. Because if you look at when these people come for their empowerment programs, they are heavily guarded by police officers. Yeah? When we are doing our thing, that is when Honorable Mathenge will come here and tell us we should, however, talk about the code of conduct of citizens when they are gathering. He goes on, these are the people that are destroying our country by their sycophancy. This Honorable Mathenge and this lady that has strategically refused to come to the studio, Honorable Gladys Bose-Sholei, who together with the Speaker, listen to me, look here, who together with the Speaker have handed over Parliament to become an appendage of State House. These people, when this gentleman comes here to say Honorable Mbui should come up with a motion to debate, he is the person who knows what they do in Parliament. These are the people who get bribed by this system to help this government get away with everything wrong that they do. They need to disclose that to us. This Honorable Mathenge here, whom I had a lot of respect for, we sit together in the health committee. How can you know what happens in Parliament? Tell Honorable Mbui, you know what happens in Parliament. You tell him to come with a motion to deal with Honorable Kanja. The only way to deal with Kanja, and I'm telling you today, we have passed it as our team, the Linda Mwananchi. What we are going to do, because they don't listen, we are waiting for them to try and disrupt Kakamega. If they disrupt Kakamega, we go to the streets more aggressively with the youth of this country than it has ever happened before.
What does more aggressively mean?
More aggressively is more numbers into the streets across the country. We will not allow this regime to continue.
Yes. Mean violence.
No, we are going to the streets to demand for the resignation of Inspector General Kanja and the CS Murkomen because of their reckless handling of number one, protests and even gatherings of opposition leaders. We are not going to allow them to continue intimidating us.
Okay.
This is our country.
Just need to clarify. Indeed, it is our country. And I need to clarify something here because you are saying that Gladys Boss has refused to come to this show because he's afraid of the conversation. I just told you that last night she texted and said she's stuck in Eldoret because flights were cancelled. That's the statement from the Deputy Speaker.
She can join us online.
If you have, we have tried to reach her, we are unable to.
Yeah, because she knows the kind of conversation
please,
we're having.
Let that end here.
These are the people that are destroying our country. I'm telling you,
Mheshimiwa Kibagendi.
I'm telling you, Honorable Sholei and the Speaker of the National Assembly are the ones who have helped destroy this country using Parliament.
You're a panelist here. I do not want to cast aspersions against you, and I do not want any person to cast aspersions against you.
I'm telling you,
and
now,
you have to be fair to each other. No, just a moment.
Okay, now she didn't come, but now I'm telling you.
No, just wait. I had
she didn't come.
It's actually
but now I'm telling you, she's one of the people, together with the Speaker, that have aided the destruction of this country.
Okay.
How? Using Parliament to continually, expeditiously help this regime pass laws and frustrate efforts of trying to bring order in this country.
I hear you. That's the second time you're saying it. I think that you're satisfied with that now.
Sam.
Mheshimiwa Murkomen, the CS Interior, around 27th of June last year said, na tumeambia polisi, mtu yeyote atakaribia police station, piga yeye risasi. He said that. And of course, this brought a lot of hue and cry in the country. He later stated that my statement was made contextually and consciously with clarity of mind based on the express provisions of the law. No leader, scholar, jurist, journalist, blogger, or opinion shaper has challenged me on the law. And at my age, position, experience, I cannot utter statements that are not supported by the Constitution and the law. Throughout my career, I've never in my conduct or utterances found myself on the wrong side of the law. That's what he said. And he was saying that all that was about misinformation. Police officers who were attacked by robbers, rioters, and arsonists who have torched police stations, stolen rifles, burnt suspects alive, and burnt property worth millions of shillings, including courts, cannot be left helpless when they have been given the authority by the Constitution and the law to defend themselves.
Lawless people need to be dealt with.
No, I just needed to say here, that is what we have on record of the CS saying. Yes. I don't know whether that constitutes instruction to the police to kill
now, let me ask you,
civilians in Kitengela.
What have the police done about the police officer who shot the innocent gentleman in Kitengela?
The police are
it is because they are protected by the CS and the PS and the people and the IG.
Okay.
And they have been given instructions to try and intimidate the opposition by killing a few supporters so that they can use that to try and silence us. It is not going to work, my brother Sam.
All right, Mheshimiwa. Madenga.
Yes, Sam. Sam, when we come here to debate, it is not supposed to be converted into a personal attack. Honorable Kibagendi, none other than the CS Health Services has accused you in Parliament in a committee meeting about manipulating SHA systems through apparently a health facility that you owned. It is on parliamentary record, Hansard. So please do not go into areas where you want to impute improper motives. My work is to legislate.
You own a hospital. You don't own a hospital. It is known in public. You own a hospital. Everybody knows.
I do not transact with
You're
SHA.
the people stealing from Kenya.
I do not transact in my facility, and you go and check. Dental laboratories are not contracted by SHA. So the improper motives, you are grabbing at everything in order to try and demonize anybody who does not prescribe to your school of thought. Please desist so that we protect each other's integrity, the little that we have across the board. Sam, the question of violence. The genesis of the violence we have seen in this country, the physical violence, is the verbal violence that has been meted on other leaders, me included, where somebody decides to come to Nyeri and call me all kind of names. That violence will beget violence.
All of us have to have political discipline. We cannot normalize insults, hatred, and vitriol and expect that the other section of Kenyans who are subject to these verbal insults, hatred, and vitriol sit back. However, I do not advocate...
How should they respond?
I do not advocate for an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. And that is why some, despite the continuous provocation over the last 1.5 years, I have remained sober, I have remained peaceful, I have resisted the attempt to retaliate. It is personal discipline. It is personal respect. All of us, as the political class, unless we stop this violence, whether physical or verbal, nothing in this country will change. This Honorable Gachagua had summons from the NCIC. He declined. It is an institution, a constitutional institution with mandate. The summoned were under its mandate. So he has the power to choose which institution to go to and which one to confront. The political discipline that I am talking about. Our constitution provides guarantees. Article 33, Article 37, Article 10, Article 232. But Article 24 also provides for limitations. The Constitution has a yes and also a no. It sets the limits. If we want to defy the constitutional limits, then we must prepare to face the consequences, to harvest the fruits of the seeds that we are planting.
Mama Thenge, you make a good point there about the limitations to whatever freedom of expression that you may have in Article 24. And indeed, every leader and every Kenyan must limit themselves. Let me just read it. A right or fundamental freedom in the Bill of Rights shall not be limited except by law, and then only to the extent that the limitation is reasonable and justifiable in an open and democratic society based on human dignity, equality and freedom, taking into account all relevant factors, including the nature of the right or fundamental freedom, the importance of the purpose of the limitation, the nature and extent of the limitation, the need to ensure that the enjoyment of rights and fundamental freedoms by any individual does not prejudice the rights and fundamental freedoms of others, and the relation between the limitation and its purpose, and whether there are less restrictive means to achieve the purpose. I hear you on all that. The question I'm asking you, because you talk of hatred, insults, vitriol, and people should not continue the verbal violence because violence begets violence. So in a meeting in Kitengela, where leaders are speaking their minds and telling the people what they think, whether the audience likes it or not, or the opponents like it or not, you're telling me the best response is to shoot to kill?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Then what is the solution out of this? Because there appears to be mishandling of weaponry.
And I have proposed amendments to the law, which I have been told don't even go there.
No, the proposal is saying this is a further obligation on the organizers of the meeting.
On both.
No, just hold on. At least what you said, that's the interpretation that you get here. You can correct it if it's wrong.
Yes.
But even if there's obligation on the organizers, what is the obligation of the police? Because it appears this Kenyan died from a police bullet. It will be confirmed, yes. But also, who carries tear gas canisters in this country? Ideally, it's the police officers. What do we do about such situations? The tear gas in Witima.
Yeah. This is the sad reality of this country. The sad reality that my two colleagues will bury their head in the sand. Some in this country, you will get the same way you have guns in the wrong hands. You have tear gas and every other kind of weapon in the wrong hands.
Are you saying?
And some. I am not saying that the tear gas that was there was not. I am not saying it was who released it.
Okay.
Because when police officers are releasing tear gas canisters, we see them, and we've seen Kenyans have cameras all right? They film the police as they're shooting tear gas canisters into crowds, all right? But we've also seen incidences where, in the process of canisters being thrown, they are captured by the crowds. Yep. And where do they go after that?
Sometimes they're returned.
Sometimes they are returned. Sometimes, is it a possibility that some are not returned? So, that is the unfortunate.
The in Kitengela did not come from the police officers?
I have said, in Kitengela, I do not know.
Okay.
I do not know. The police.
In Wetima?
Even in Wetima, I was not there. I am relying on what I am seeing on the media.
Question, so why is Internal Affairs Unit investigating Wetima if it didn't come from the police officers?
Sam, when we have an incident, and you remember here I said, even the NCIC on this issue, I should be hearing their voice.
Sorry,
all right?
Moving away.
So,
you've told me.
We have structures.
Sorry, let me explain to you what I've understood you saying. That in this country, we're in the unfortunate reality that some weaponry is in the wrong hands.
Yes.
That some tear gas may be in the wrong hands, not necessarily from the police.
Yes.
And I'm taking you back to Wetima. You see people shooting at cars. Did you see that?
Yes, I have seen it. I saw it on the media.
Canisters, didn't we?
I saw it on the media.
The Internal Affairs Unit, which is the disciplinary unit of the police service, is investigating this matter.
Yes.
IPOA, which is an oversight authority on the police service, is investigating this matter.
Yes.
Meaning that some of the suspects could be police officers.
Possibly. There's every possibility.
So why are they investigating if this weaponry was in the hands of civilians?
You see, Sam, I have not said that they should not investigate, but I have said when we have all these issues about weapons in the wrong hands, in which areas are they possibly being used? We would say they are used in banditry. Is it possible that the same weapons that are used in cattle rustling and in robberies have now found their way into the hands of the political class across the divide? We are not immune.
Do you actually believe that? What was he saying?
How do we explain what we are seeing happening in this country, Sam?
Explain. Do you believe what you're saying?
They are weapons in the wrong hands, including the political class.
Do you believe what you're saying?
There are weapons. This statement I will repeat again and again.
Okay.
There are weapons in the wrong hands. The political class is not immune to the possibility of having illegal weapons. It is not immune.
How much weaponry do you have, Mheshimiwa Mbui?
You know, I grieve for this country when you listen to political leaders speak the way my colleague has spoken. Some I can say here without contradiction, if I was to imagine that I would have become a politician to be able to say certain things that I'm hearing, I would never have ventured. Because, you know, you must be realistic. And, you know, sometimes I think people try to create narratives because they want to please somebody out there, maybe their bosses. But, you know, some of us are living proof of how violent the police can be on totally unarmed and innocent, you know, politicians. I am a victim of political violence. A policeman shot my leg, broke my leg. I still, up to now, have a metal brace, whatever, bracket in my leg. I did nothing wrong. I was in my car. But I was actually, and I can tell you, Sam, that if it wasn't for the media, you know, practitioner who came running with a video camera to record what was happening, that police officer was going to kill me. So when I listen to some of my colleagues speak the way they are, I really grieve because I think we have a big problem. But you know what? And maybe that's why sometimes when it comes to issues of police violence and police brutality, I get a little emotional. But then let's go back to the facts. You know, you have heard, not only did CS Murkomen say that the police should shoot, none other than the president himself said it. And then he justified by saying shoot on the legs. Rex Masai, who we buried, was shot on the leg and he died. So this is a regime that is completely intolerant of other people's opinions. But there is also the issue of double standards. Now, let's analyze this thing. We have, yes, a right to express ourselves. It's in the Constitution. That is Article 33. We have freedom of expression. But look at, I'll give you a story that has happened. It is, I think, in the Standard, a meeting that was held someplace in Kiambu, where the CS Tuya was there and CS Muvuria were there. And there was a lot of political intolerance between supporters of one member of parliament and the governor. There was very serious showdown. In fact, the meeting was disrupted because of the shouting by the public. There was no tear gas canister thrown. There was no live bullet shot. Yet there were 2 ministers. How come it was okay for those political leaders to agitate for positions? One of them even said, I'm the next governor, you know? How come there was no political violence by the police? But you go to Kitengela, where you have Kibagendi and his team, just saying we want this regime to serve 1 term and go home, and the police will shoot. You go to Nyamakima, and our party leaders are saying, look, this regime is intolerant. They have hurt our people. They have shot at us, and we have tried to ask them to stop, and the IG is refusing to meet us. The tear gas is thrown. Then a leader comes here and says, oh, you know, we think that tear gas was in the hands of these political leaders, or we think that political leaders, Kina Kibagendi, are the ones that shot, you know, Vincent Ayomo in Kitengela. It's preposterous. We have to move away from that. And at the end of this, Sam, I'm not just one of the victims. There's a family grieving. There's a widow, and I've seen a report here in the papers. There are children that have lost a father. There's parents who have lost their child. There are relatives, there are friends who have lost an important person. There's an employer who's lost his mechanic. And I mean, this is what we must be facing, that it is something that we must all say no to. And I want to beg my colleague and friend Madenge, please join us in just condemning this violence. Let us not try to cast aspersions and say in that function in Othaya that it was actually the Rigathi Gachagua and his team that were shooting their own cars, breaking the windows of their car. It is also you know, a very serious irritation to imply that in Moranga, Jonyotu and team went there and vandalized their cars and shot Honorable Monyaka's vehicle with 10 bullets. You know, no, I think there were less than 10. 10 bullets was Raila's vehicle in 2023. But this one had, I think, 6 bullet holes. So, I mean, instead of us agreeing that this is something we must condemn, we keep fighting and arguing about it. Mathenge, please let us just condemn the violence and tell the police to shape up. Tell the Inspector General to own up. The reason that we went to him is because he holds the highest position in the police service. And he cannot be arguing that we should have gone to a local police station to go and write a statement. If we go to the Inspector General, we have made it clear to Kenyans, this is where the buck stops. So please let us all agree that there is a problem in this country and it needs to be sorted out. The double standards of that it is okay if it is a Kenya Kwanza meeting that people can agitate politically and it's fine, and then if it is us speaking it is wrong, it's unfair. None other than the president himself, Sam, allow me to say this. If you're talking about political vitriol and those negative words, what has William Ruto said about my party leader? He has talked about us and said we have no brains. He went to Nyeri and said that you know, you people elected me, how do you expect me to fanya kazi na wale wapumbavu? Who was he referring to as wapumbavu? He goes quickly to Nyanza and changes the tune and says, hapana, si nyinyi ni werevu. Wale wapumbavu ni Kalonzo na Rigathi Gachagua. Did any policeman shoot at that meeting because of the president's statements? Let us accept that if it is a problem of hygiene in politics, the hygiene has stopped because the highest officer is reckless himself. So you can't blame Gachagua for saying 1 term, but you're saying it's okay for Ruto to say, hawana akili. You know, let's not have double standards. I condemn reckless talk.
I want to
but I want to say that we must stop the violence.
The right of reply.
Our conversation is about the political violence, and I'm saying I condemn it, and Mathenge says he doesn't.
Sam, you know, I want to set the record straight.
Just hold on, let's hear from He's been quiet.
There's one thing I want us to be very clear about, particularly with this KK sycophants. They need to come out clear and say Anthony Kibagendi owns Hospital XYZ, and that is why he has been fighting for the rights of Kenyans in matters to do with SHA. They have never been able to demonstrate that. They use that as a pushback to try and silence me, including this honorable member who actually knows he is my friend. We sit in the same committee. He knows I don't own any hospital. I'm just firm on matters to do with SHA and how there is a lot of incompetence in the ministry from the CS and how the system has been manipulated and how billions of Kenyan shillings are being stolen by the CS and his cronies. That is my focus. And he talks about 11 billion having been stolen. Why haven't they taken anybody to court?
Sorry, you know you're saying a lot of things.
Yes.
Stolen by the CS?
He needs to demonstrate to us. He's the one in charge.
But you're saying he has stolen. That's categorical.
I want to tell you today, the person that is in charge of the Ministry of Health is Duale. Duale has a company that is involved in SHA, and I'm very clear about this.
What's the name?
They changed, it is called Convergence. They changed the CR12 from his nephew to some other person. That one I'm very clear about. I'm very clear about that.
Number two,
he went on to claim that I own a hospital. He has never been able to state which particular hospital. He goes on to say 11 billion has been stolen, carrying files to the DCI. He needs to demonstrate to DCI, just charge so and so, so and so and so and so, because he says that system can authenticate where fraud has been done. So my focus on fighting for Kenyans on issues to do with SHA, I will not stop with their intimidation, including Honorable Madenge, here claiming that I own a hospital. I've never even held a syringe in my life trying to do anything medical. But that aside, these people, this legion of fearful regime that has lied to Kenyans for so long, that has been caught up with time, that cannot accept that their time is up, cannot accept any other voice speaking and telling Kenyans the truth.
Okay.
And that is why they will aggressively disrupt the meetings of those who do not subscribe to their unfortunate beliefs and policies. Look here, the incoherence in their economic policies, the tax hikes, the levies, the removal of subsidies are a demonstration that this regime is only focused on pulling resources together to some pot so that they use it to try and intimidate some of us in politics.
Okay.
When they meet, have you seen any of their meetings getting disrupted? No. But when the opposition meets, when we, the ODM that is against the unfortunate marriage between ODM and Kenya Kwanza is happening, when we meet, we get aggressively disrupted by this regime and the police. So let me ask you, who is going to protect us, Sam? And that is why I'm telling you, fear is no longer here. We don't fear nobody. And we are going to confront these people very aggressively. I want to tell you,
just
if they disrupt our meeting...
You know, when you say a lot of things, you leave us with no choice but to fact check. Because we're talking about Convergence holding company owned by CS Duale.
That I'm very clear.
You're sure it's owned by
He changed the CR12 in December. December 2024.
December 2020.
That is when they changed the CR12. So that is their proxy.
His name was, just hold on. Relax.
Can I show you?
His name was in this,
Not his name, his nephew.
What is the name of the nephew?
I don't think it would be prudent for me to mention the names of those people here.
No, but you're making an allegation. So the CS owned Convergence through his nephew?
Yes.
And he changed it in 2024?
Yes.
So I'll read you the details about registration of Convergence based on a document as per registration of 17th of May 2023. And so Convergence Holding Company Limited, these are the directors, Nuru Said Ahmed, a director, no shares stated. Nancy Waithera Gitao, alternate director to Peter Junior Okalet, no shares stated. Issa Sheikh Mohammed, ordinary shares 500. Abdullahi Abdi Sheikh, ordinary shares 500. Comtech Consortium Limited, ordinary shares 403. Galva Investment Limited, ordinary shares 209, and the total share holding is 1,612 shares.
Now, fact check.
Who is the nephew?
Now, I want to tell you, Convergence Network Solutions, the shareholders, Convergence Holding Company, shareholder, that 90%. Address, ordinary shares, 90. Issa Sheikh Mohammed, no shares. Abdullahi Abdi Sheikh, 5 shares. Pitfield Auto Limited, 5 shares. A total of 100 shares. This was after they changed the CR12 in 2024 December. And
so you see what you've done. Convergence Network Solutions, 90% of it is owned by Convergence Holding Company.
Yes.
Whose directors I read for you.
Yes.
So who is the nephew here?
Now, this I cannot openly tell you that the person they changed in 2024 December is the person who was a direct nephew. Even here, I can tell you now, these are just proxies. This one, I'm ready to go to whatever length.
No, it's okay. You go to whatever length, but based on the information you provided, it doesn't prove what you're saying.
Even you have not proved, because you have not demonstrated that they are not relatives of this individual.
Surely, it's not for me to prove.
Yes, and I'm telling you they are. I'm telling you they are.
Who?
These ones. Some of this. Yeah, you tell me who is not the nephew.
Come on, we cannot.
You should tell me who is not the nephew. So I'm telling you, today we will not continue to, when we ask them hard questions, what they do is to say, Kibagendi, you own a hospital, that is why you're asking questions.
Not responding to the hard questions.
Yeah. I'm here responding to hard questions.
Sam,
they should demonstrate to us which hospital Anthony Kibagendi owns. However, we will continue telling them this is a raw deal. They have messed up the health sector, and we will continue reminding them this.
Let's keep this at public interest level. We'll get to personal interest level later.
Yes.
Not here.
Sam,
your take.
I'll begin by restating that I said violence, the instigation of the violence that we have seen in the political space is the verbal violence that has been meted on leaders who do not subscribe to the thoughts and the approach to politics of the Gachagua axis. And I have said that violence has now escalated into physical violence. And I said, violence begets violence. And I said, all of us,
even state
all of us...
Does that include state violence?
It does not include state violence, and I have condemned state violence. Okay. I have said that is misuse of power, that is abuse of office, and then the mechanism then for us to deal with it. And that's why I asked, besides the notification, for example, then what follows? Is there a gap there that we should tighten on both sides? The people who have been obligated to notify and the people who have been also obligated to receive the notification beyond the receipt, then what other steps are supposed to follow? Is there a gap? That cannot in any way be, should not be in any way be twisted to say, I support violence. I said all of us, including the government, none of us is going to be immune to this violence. I am calling all of us collectively to order.
You know, that's a good call, but you do know when you generalize issues, you run away from particular issues from specific issues. You don't get a solution.
Well, I will go specifically to the issue where I come from, where I have been called labeled a traitor, where I have been labeled all kind of things. All right, and I'm asking, how many among the political class will have the kind of self-discipline and restraint that I have?
Okay, you've said that before. I think
so. Just a moment.
I give an opportunity.
Only on one thing.
Let me first
on Kibageni, one thing.
No.
And violence. We have a video viral where he attacked some innocent young man in a hotel. So this violence has to stop. It is spreading across the divide.
Just before you arrived, I asked that question to Mheshimiwa Kibagendi here, and he said it's a matter in court. We chose to respect that because we do respect the courts in the country. Let's take a look at the feedback that people are sharing on this particular issue and the concerns that they have. Citizen TV Kenya at Sam Gitoku, the hashtag Tuesday Citizen Daybreak. Frank Orinde, political spaces should be arena of ideas, not battlegrounds of violence. When brutality happens in full glare of the police, or worse, by the police, it erodes public trust in institutions meant to protect us. Democracy thrives on dialogue, not force. Babu Michael, it is very sad to hear senior politicians alleging that the shootings and tear gas canisters lobbed into churches and anti-government rallies are coming from civilians. Take note, in Kitengela, a life was lost. Bobotieno, the violence we are witnessing at political rallies squarely lies with the government, and it is responsible for it through police officers. Sam Masika, it takes the bias of the police for a nation to go to the dogs. When law enforcement loses neutrality, citizens begin to lose trust, and victims may feel compelled to protect themselves, not only from criminals, but from the police as well. Godri Baraza, it is now becoming clear that the government is weaponizing the police force against opposition leaders to settle scores. Inasmuch as the president does not condemn these acts of police impunity, Kenyans will see him as a beneficiary. General Lazaro Kanyambok, more than 50 years of independence and we are still battling serious human rights violations, political thuggery, tribal politics and police brutality that don't even spare places of worship. Babu Michael, finally, why must police lob tear gas canisters at a peaceful assembly of people? I feel sad that after such man-made incidents, casualties are reported, and in some cases, death occurs that are never fully accounted for. Why must our police misbehave? Why is the question that Babu Michael is asking. And you know, recently, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, the president was in Kisumu, and he promised that all victims of protests will be compensated because they are mashujaa wa demokrasia, democracy heroes. I don't know how many times we have to do that. We go through such situations, but in a few months or years, we are talking about compensation. I want us to spend the remaining time